Welcome to New Orleans, kids. Forget Disneyland. This, right here, this sweaty, boozy, soulful city, this is the real Magic Kingdom. A place where the spirits of voodoo queens mingle with the ghosts of jazz legends, where the food will make you want to slap your mama. It's a compliment, trust me. And the music will grab you by the soul and never let go. Over the next few days, we're gonna dive deep into the heart of this city. We're gonna wander through the French Quarter, get lost in the madness of Bourbon Street, and pay our respects to the ghosts of jazz past. We'll stand in the shadow of history, from the wrought iron balconies to the moss-draped oaks, and feel the weight of stories whispered on the humid air. So loosen your belt, grab a drink, and get ready to explore a city that lives and breathes on its own terms. This ain't your grandma's vacation, kids. This is New Orleans. Alright, let's be honest. You can't talk about New Orleans without starting in the French Quarter. This is the heart of it all, the beating pulse of the city. Walk these streets and you're walking through centuries of history, from the Spanish colonial era to the birth of jazz. Look around you. See those wrought iron balconies overflowing with flowers? Those have seen some things, my friends. Heard stories whispered in the dead of night. Secrets shared under the watchful eye of the moon. And the food? Don't even get me started on the food. We're talking gumbo so good it'll make you weep, jambalaya that'll have you slapping the table in delight, and beignets, those pillowy squares of fried dough dusted with powdered sugar that are basically little bites of heaven. But the real magic of the French Quarter is in its people. The street musicians pouring their hearts out on every corner, the artists hawking their wares, the voodoo priestesses with their knowing eyes. They're the ones who give this place its soul. So take your time, wander these streets and soak it all in. Have a drink at a bar older than your grandparents. Listen to the music spilling out from every doorway and let the spirit of the quarter wash over you. Trust me, you won't regret it. Alright kids, buckle up, because we're heading into the belly of the beast, Bourbon Street. This is where the wild things roam, where the drinks flow freely, and the party never seems to end. Now I gotta be honest, Bourbon Street ain't for the faint of heart. It's loud, it's crowded, and it's full of tourists. But there's a certain energy here, a kind of chaotic beauty that you won't find anywhere else. You'll see things on Bourbon Street that'll make you blush, make you laugh, maybe even make you question your sanity. But hey, that's all part of the experience, right? Just remember, amidst all the madness, there are still some gems to be found on this street. Look past the neon lights and the cheap plastic beads, and you'll find some of the best live music in the city. So grab a drink, find a balcony, and let the good times roll. Just try not to do anything you'll regret in the morning. Too much. Stepping into Jackson Square is like stepping back in time. Here, in the heart of the French Quarter, surrounded by the spires of St. Louis Cathedral and the Cabildo, you can almost hear the echoes of history whispering on the wind. Take a walk beneath the shade of the ancient oak trees, their branches heavy with Spanish moss, and watch the artists as they capture the city's soul on their canvases. Listen to the jazz musicians fill the air with their melodies, their music a tapestry woven from the city's joys and sorrows. Grab a coffee and sit on a bench watching the world go by. You'll see tourists and locals alike drawn to this place, seeking a moment of peace amidst the city's frenetic energy. This is where you come to catch your breath, to soak in the history and the beauty of this remarkable city. To remember that beneath the party atmosphere, there's a depth and a richness to New Orleans that runs deeper than the Mississippi River. Now, if the French Quarter is the heart of New Orleans, then the Garden District is its elegant, well-dressed older sister. Here, grand mansions stand proudly behind wrought iron fences, their gardens overflowing with magnolias and camellias. Take a stroll down these quiet, tree-lined streets and imagine yourself transported back to the antebellum South. Picture ladies in hoop skirts sipping iced tea on their verandas, gentlemen in seersucker suits discussing business over mint juleps. But don't let the genteel atmosphere fool you. The Garden District is full of surprises. Hidden amongst the mansions, you'll find some of the city's best restaurants, boutiques selling unique treasures, and art galleries showcasing the work of local artists. So take your time, wander down these streets, and let the beauty of the Garden District work its magic on you. You might just find yourself wishing you could stay forever. Standing tall in the heart of Jackson Square, the spires of St. Louis Cathedral reach towards the heavens, a testament to the city's enduring spirit. This isn't just any church, folks. This is the oldest continuously active Roman Catholic cathedral in the United States. Think about that for a minute. This building has seen it all. Step inside and feel the weight of history settle upon you. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the hushed whispers of prayers whispered over centuries. Sunlight streams through stained glass windows, painting the interior in a kaleidoscope of colors. Whether you're a believer or not, you can't help but feel a sense of awe standing in this sacred space. Take a moment to reflect, to appreciate the beauty and the history that surrounds you, and when you step back outside into the bustle of Jackson Square, you'll carry a piece of that tranquility with you. Alright kids, if you want to understand the soul of New Orleans, you gotta understand Mardi Gras. And there's no better place to do that than Mardi Gras World. This is where the magic happens, where artists and sculptors spend months creating the elaborate floats that will parade through the streets come carnival time. It's a riot of color and sound, a feast for the senses. Wander through the massive warehouses and watch as giant papier-mâché figures take shape before your eyes. Learn about the history of Mardi Gras, from its humble beginnings to the over-the-top spectacle it is today. And don't be afraid to get a little hands-on. Try on a mask, pose for a photo with a giant jester, or even try your hand at decorating a float. This is Mardi Gras, after all. A time for letting loose, embracing the absurd, and celebrating life in all its messy glory. Now, if you want to experience the real New Orleans, the city that beats beneath the surface of tourist traps and souvenir shops, then you gotta get yourself down to Frenchmen Street. This is where the locals come to hear real music, to dance the night away, and to soak up the authentic spirit of New Orleans. Forget the neon lights and the crowded balconies of Bourbon Street. Here, the music spills out onto the streets, a soundtrack to your night. You'll find every genre imaginable here, from traditional jazz and blues to funk, soul, and even a little bit of rock and roll. Grab a drink at one of the many bars and clubs, settle in for a night of unforgettable music, and let the good times roll. And if you're feeling adventurous, wander down one of the side streets, and you might just stumble upon a hidden courtyard, where a secret second-line parade is just getting started. Trust me, it's an experience you won't soon forget. Listen, I get it. After a few days in New Orleans, you might be craving a little peace and quiet. A break from the beignets and the booze, a chance to walk off all that jambalaya. Well, my friends, I got just the place for you. Audubon Park. This sprawling green oasis in the heart of Uptown is the perfect place to escape the city's hustle and bustle. Take a stroll along the tree-lined paths, rent a paddle boat on the lagoon, or simply spread out a blanket and soak up the sun. And of course, no trip to Audubon Park would be complete without a visit to the Audubon Zoo. Home to over 2,000 animals from around the world, the zoo is a surefire hit with kids and adults alike. So come on, take a break from the debauchery and treat yourself to a little bit of nature. You'll be glad you did. Look, I know what you're thinking. A war museum in New Orleans? But trust me on this one, folks. The National WWII Museum is more than just a history lesson. It's a powerful and moving tribute to the men and women who fought and died in the greatest conflict in human history. Through interactive exhibits, personal stories, and restored wartime artifacts, the museum brings the past to life in a way that's both informative and deeply moving. You'll hear first-hand accounts from soldiers who were there, see the weapons and equipment they used, and gain a deeper understanding of the sacrifices made in the name of freedom. It's a sobering experience, to be sure, but an important one. Because to understand New Orleans, to understand America, you have to understand its past. And the National WWII Museum offers a powerful and unforgettable window into that past. Alright shoppers, this one's for you. 6 miles of pure retail therapy, a smorgasbord of boutiques, antique shops, art galleries, and restaurants, all begging you to come in and spend your hard-earned cash. This is Magazine Street. Forget your generic shopping malls, folks. This is the real deal. Here you'll find one-of-a-kind treasures, locally made crafts, and vintage finds that'll make your heart skip a beat. Need a new hat, a voodoo doll to curse your enemies, a first edition Hemingway? Magazine Street has got you covered, and when you need a break from all that shopping, grab a coffee at a sidewalk cafe, people watch to your heart's content, and soak up the unique vibe of this New Orleans institution. So there you have it, kids. A taste of New Orleans, a city that gets under your skin and stays with you long after you've left. We've wandered through history, danced to the rhythm of jazz, and tasted the flavors of a city that knows how to live. We've seen the beauty and the grit, the joy and the sorrow that make up the soul of this remarkable place. But this is just the beginning, folks. New Orleans is a city that begs to be explored, to be savored, to be experienced again and again. So come on back soon, you hear? And next time, we'll dive even deeper into the heart of it all.